Hey everybody, Scoutcraft here again. It's Wednesday and it's been a busy week. Like I said, I just got my new meters installed. They were supposed to come between 12 and 4, and don't you know, one guy came quarter to 12, the other guy came quarter after 12. How often does that happen? I got lucked out today, huh? Let me show you what they did. So they put in the smart meters here, and over here they did the gas. Now what they did is they just changed the heads here and added this little part here, so on both meters. So now, and the reason there are 2 meters, it's a 2-family house, that's why. But now what happens is these meters are going to be read via the Wi-Fi to the company. And also, these are the new smart meters that are here for the electric, and it runs through a few things. It tells you how much you're using and how many cycles it has. I guess it runs through a menu here, so I'll have to look into that. But so now that's all done. That's a load off my mind. It was funny. It was a nice young lad that came to install the electric meter, and I was like, I said, what do you do with the old meters? And they say, oh, they go on a pallet at work. I said, those meters, they actually sell those on eBay. And he was like, what? I said, yeah. I said, I'm just letting you know. They sell those on eBay. So I said, if ever, you see some that are being thrown out or something, grab them. I said, don't you do it, but I said, have one of your cousins or something put on eBay, and you'll see they sell. And he's like, he was shocked. He's like, I had no idea there was a market for them. But I said, yeah, there's people like old stuff, crazy stuff like that. So I think he has a whole new appreciation of the older meter. Okay, first off, to start off today, I want to talk real quickly about our last project. If you remember, we did this last week. This is Gary Lee from the UK sent this, and this was his parents, his late parents' coal hammer that they used to have in they had a little, I guess, a cottage or something. They had coal, and this was in a bucket in there, and he says it was in there since he could remember in 1980 or something when they got it. But this means so much more now that I have a backstory with it. When you restore a tool that has a backstory, every tool, I always say, has a soul to it, more or less, how it was used. And just think about this, about Gary's parents maybe coming in, grabbing this hammer and breaking up some coal, that might have been big chunks or whatever, and how many years this was used. And now to be restored back to, to like new condition, ready for another 50, 60 years of use. What a beautiful hammer this was. And I really do appreciate Gary not only sending it, but also let me know the backstory. I love the backstory of certain tools. So it means so much more. We were just talking about eBay before. I have to tell you something. I scored a couple things on eBay, and the first thing I picked up was, I've been watching a good friend of mine, Randy Richard, out in the West Coast. Randy has a great channel. I've been subscribed for a long time, but he's just a great guy. And Randy has been restoring his dad's old saw. He has his father's old table saw, which also had a jointer to it. This was when Craftsman made top quality stuff. Well, it was made for Craftsman, but it's just absolutely fantastic piece of machinery. And he did a full restoration on this. He took it from, it was a used machine. It wasn't abused, but it was a used machine. It was rusty and stuff. And he took it back all the way to, I'm telling you, he made this so nice. I keep telling him, I put it in my living room. That's how nice this saw is. But when he was rebuilding the motor on this, and he has a whole series of him doing this saw, he mentioned a book. Let me show you the book he mentioned. Now, Randy mentioned this book. He said, this is a great book to get. And as soon as he mentioned it, I actually paused the video and I went right to eBay because, sometimes you got to do it like that, So I happened to grab this. I got it for $10. It's from 1960, I believe. And the funny thing is about this one here, 1960. This one is an old library book. And I always find it interesting. You ever look in the back here and you could see when it was taken out here. The first time it was taken out in 1970. Then it went for a while. Then again here in 1980. So it went 10 years, 72, 1980, and all the way up till 92. And that was it. I guess then it was considered. But this is all about the motors, the fractional horsepower motors that we use, and all different types of motors. And it's so simple to understand. It gives you, I love these old cutaway views and things, but I love a book that I can understand, and it's written in a way that is so easy for you to understand the basics of the motors that you're going to be dealing with, on the windings and how it, and so many illustrations. I mean, this is what I need because I'm a little bit slow when it comes to picking up on certain things. But when it's broken down like this is the way military books are. That's why when you learn something in the military, you know it because they teach you as if you don't know anything and take you from, that's what this guy did. Gerald Schweitzer. Fantastic book. So if you ever do come across this and you see one or whatever, pick it up if you're interested in those kind of motors or anything like that. And so I really appreciate Randy for suggesting this. It's going to be a great read. I'm looking forward to it. Next up, I also got something else I picked up on eBay that I wanted to show you and talk a little bit about. I think you'll get a kick out of this. Next up, I picked this up on eBay, and look at this. You know how I remember John Oxoris from Taz, Australia, that his father had collected. Well, I found a lot of acetate handles, and you know how I like to make hammers, things like that. And these are new old stock acetate handles and all different types. And they weren't, they were listed, it's a whole box full. They were listed for $50, which was, maybe about $1 a piece or whatever. And, I have to tell you something about eBay. And there are so many different nice ones in here, But like I said, some of them have these little pockets where they used to have the attachment that you could put a 3/8-inch square drive in there. But all different ones. And you know how I like to make hammers and things like that. And so I really... I wanted to, this thing as I was talking about, I wanted to jump on these, but that was a little expensive, $50, right? So let me tell you something. Sometimes when you're looking at an item on eBay, you say, "Ooh, that's a nice item. I'd like to pick that up," but it's a little bit expensive. Here's what you do. Instead of trying to make an offer on it, a lot of times, you say, I don't like to do that. Sometimes some people lowball it. Some people say, a guy's asking $50, I'll offer him $20. If he takes it, he takes it. If not, he not. But what I like to do is I just put it in your watch list. Just watch it, okay? And what happens is a lot of times people, if they're interested in selling it, they'll see you're watching it. You might be one of the few people that are watching it, and they'll send you an offer. They'll say, look, I see you're interested. If you're interested, and that's what this guy did with the handles. He sent me, he said, you can have for $35, and I said, okay, it's... Obviously, it's like, that now it turns into 65 cents a piece for the handle. So I said, okay, I jumped on it. But put that in your watch list in eBay next time you want, just even if you're just somewhat interested, because you'd be surprised. I've gotten a lot of good deals with people. It might be a couple weeks in the watch list, and all of a sudden they'll send you an offer, and then you can accept it. So remember, just put it in your watch list, even if you're on the fence about it, and let them make the first move. Okay, for today's project, this was the second hammer. Gary sent actually a bunch of hammers, but this was the one I really wanted to do first. We did this one, and man, I can't tell you how beautiful this feels in the hand. You just want to hold this all day long. However, remember, I took the handles, I switched the handles, I popped this handle off of here, and I said this would be a good handle to pop in here to make a short handle. You know how I love my short handle ball peens. And this one's in good shape. I said, let's see what we could do with this one here as far as it hasn't been beat on. It's actually just rusty, So, and we have this old handle here, let's have some fun. Let's cut this down a little bit, make a nice short-handled ball peen, which I absolutely love. I use more than any other hammer I have. And let's have some fun with that today, Let's see if we can't knock this one out. Another one of Gary Lee's send-overs from the UK. So let's get started. Here's our post-wire brush evaluation. And look at the pitting on here. This is, again, that's what's great about patina. It hides all the imperfections, That's why guys love patina. But you could see here when you take it down, it's like, here you could see. This had a weird grind to it, or they probably, again, probably an inexpensive type, but you see the wave over here, you know, that's something you want to straighten out, get it more like that side. You see the seam here, the forged seam, and you know, this is where you're going to have to take, and you want to get the facets where they look nice, you know. But interesting, and you can see what it looks like, what the face looks like. So now is where we will go with the flap sander and have some fun. Okay, here's something interesting. This week, YouTube eliminated the dislike button for videos. So if you see a video that you don't like, you can hit the dislike button, but it won't register. Nobody could see it. Wonder what your thoughts are on something like that. And so it's a little bit of censorship, but what do you think? Let me know in the comments if you have a thought either way on that one. Next up, as you know, I have the handle. You know, I have to put the stain and shellac, things like that on the handle. And I put it on top of my oil burner. And now that the winter's here, it's running. And a couple people ask me, what is the temperature of that? So I put a gauge up. Okay, here it is. This is the top of my oil burner. And now I have a piece of foil over it to keep the heat in. This is the vents here. So it's always hot. But you can see the temperature here. Now, the burner's been off for a while because the heat hasn't come up. But as you can see, it's about 92 degrees or something like that, but it was up to about 95 before. And, you know, and when the heat's up, and sometimes I put a box over it, so it probably gets about 100, 105 degrees. And that really does a good job of curing the shellac and the stain and everything like that. Okay, you know my favorite part. Remember what Gary's other hammer looked like before we started? And we're calling this project done. Boy, we had some fun with this one, didn't we? Let's take a look at what we did here. We did a little jeweling on the side there, you know, and both sides, obviously. And cleaned up all the back. Just a beautiful job. Nice eye work up here. Everything is full. Everything is solid. It did the handle. We still have to do one more coat of shellac on here, but again, it has to be done by later on today, so I don't have the time. But look at how nice that handle came out. Now, a couple things I have to talk about this hammer. You know, it's just beautiful, isn't it? I mean, there's nothing in the world like a beautiful ball peen hammer. And let me tell you the history behind this particular size and shape and why it's so fantastic. Here's my go-to hammer was this particular hammer. It was just an old hammer, and I cut off the handle and just stuck it in. And I'll tell you, this size, the shape, everything about it was fantastic. So then we came up with that short handle hammer challenge. I think it was, what was that, last year or the year before? And challenged a bunch of you to make a small handle hammer, and you all did, and you all love it. You know, everybody loves a short-handled hammer. So this one is probably my most used hammer in the shop, this one here, that we did for the contest. But now I have a little brother for that hammer. And it's, you can see it's the same size. You can see there, same size. And it's just a smaller weight as far. But isn't that something? This is just a sweetheart of a hammer. What I did here, remember it had that regular, I took out, you see I gave it that little curve, that sexy curve that ball peen hammers have, and that's also a weakness for ball peens, but I always liked it, and it looks nice, because these aren't made to be doing any kind of heavy whaling. They're just made for tapping and things like that, and it's just lovely, isn't it? I'm really in love with this hammer. And Gary, I know that you must be feeling very satisfied seeing both of these, because they really came out nice. Okay, so that was a really fun project. And again, Gary, thank you so much for that. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving here in the States. We celebrate Thanksgiving Day tomorrow. Looking forward to that. And you know what's funny about the Thanksgiving for me is we've, in my family, ever since I'm a kid, not only do we celebrate it as a family and always have great memories of Thanksgiving, but also all the animals that live around my house also indulge in Thanksgiving festivities. Every animal here, you know, I feed my animal, all the raccoon, the possum, everybody gets fed every night. But on Thanksgiving, they not only get double portion, but they also get like little extra treats. And, you know, I always make sure that they have a good time on Thanksgiving too. You know, even the birds, the pigeons, everybody here eats good on Thanksgiving. And I hope maybe you try that out on your family too. If you have any leftovers or something, don't be afraid to throw it out and help out some of the animals around your area. But anyway, thanks so much for tuning in. Special thanks to Gary Lee again for the projects, and also check out Randy Richard if you want to see that great job he did on his dad's table saw. Anyway, I hope you all have a happy Thanksgiving. Take care now. Bye-bye.